Okay, we are recording now. This is Swim Foundation's founder and CEO. My name is Nina Gibbs, and this is my sister Alice Teeters. We're both Natina sisters, and our teaching methods are founded on principles and a progression that our mom Phoebe has developed over 40 plus years. So today we're going to talk a little bit about hiring and how swim programs right now are prepping for springtime and summertime, and who you're looking for when you are interviewing new instructors. What's your job as the employer to keep them motivated? So we're going to ask Alice a few questions. She works at Nitro, which is the most giant ever swimming program in the world. But Alice manages 20 plus instructors at a busy time and over 1,000 kids in the pool each week. So Alice, tell us, as you're going into this season, ramping up for spring, summer, who are you looking for when you're hiring new instructors? What kind of traits are you looking for in a new swim instructor?
An instructor or any individual with a learning mindset that's open to, whether they're experienced or not, open to working as a team member, as a newcomer, whether they're experienced with other programs or not. It's essential that that instructor is willing to take on the programming, to follow curriculum and methodology to support the progression of the program, because most of our Learn to Swim businesses are starting from a very simple form of learn how to be comfortable in the water to being able to swim simple strokes. Mm-hmm. So in that, there's always a progression. There's a lot of different ways to teach swimming, but the person that we're looking for to hire is one that we want for as long as possible, but also that can communicate with children, communicate and work with one another as a team and a staff, and also consistently show up with a learning mindset that when an instructor with more experience, like myself or another, can offer advice, and that they can receive that professionally and put it to work, being able to adapt to instructions and provide to the swimmers in the water.
Right, and as they stay longer and instruct longer, they're going to be learning things too that they might be able to mesh with that curriculum or program. And that's something that we strive to do also, is create trainings that supplement and enhance existing curriculum and existing programs, because there's a lot of areas where especially inexperienced or newer instructors need some help. So we had also talked about attitude, and that learning mindset is right along with that. Good attitude, positive attitude, able to work with a team, listen to constructive feedback. And then let's talk a little bit about the fact that we need them to care about children and to care about what they're doing. How do you see that play out in your staff?
Communication and age factors. How you speak to a 3-year-old and help them through maybe an emotional lesson, or how you speak to an 8-year-old that is struggling with breathing concepts or stroke mechanics. It's almost 2 different languages, so they have to be able to change their dialogue with the type of class they're working with, but also, not be afraid. We talked about this before. A person that's coming on to help children learn in the water, they have to be comfortable holding, helping, lifting, wiping, fixing, adjusting. All those kind of things are what an instructor, new or experienced, has to be comfortable with. And they do get more and more comfortable as I've seen a lot of new instructors move through, maybe they move through like 2 months of lessons. They're still pretty new and green. And they're still very verbal in trying to ask a child to climb out or fix their goggles. They have to be able to feel comfortable physically adjusting and assisting the swimmer, no matter what their age, because
That's
it's very
important. I've seen that too. And I think there's probably a lot of different reasons for that. But yeah, I think that's part of what's going to be built into our teaching confidence in swim instructors, is appropriately handling children, how to support and assist physically, because it makes such a difference. So I want to talk a little bit also about typical length of time you have a hire. So I know here having a person on staff for a couple of years is great. They come back summer after summer, they're just building on what they've already done. So talk to me a little bit about that, and what does keep an employee on with you?
I would say the first thing is that whoever is in charge, who is programming and directing the instructors, they have to be very supportive. There's a lot of information that they're constantly really responsible in listening and adapting to. So from a managerial standpoint, you have to be good at the critique sandwich. You have to be able to support and give them truth where their efforts are being met. You also have to be truthful in where they're falling under the bar. You know, if they're not turning around and smiling at children to introduce themselves in their class, if they're not really presenting themselves with an energy that is receptive to children, if there's no expression, no smile, no energy in their voice, those are things that managers or program designers have to deal with. And they have to deal with it very quickly, because if it's allowed, then the instructor thinks, well, that's my norm, I don't really smile. That's not conducive to good lessons. There's times when an instructor has to be stern. There's times when they have to be forthright in what they're saying to a child for safety or for just good direction. But all in all, they have to have an energy and a comfortability in being truthful with the children that are in the class, no matter what their age. And so there is what you're really looking for, a mature person. Even young teenagers that want to come teach, I applaud them, that's awesome. But most of the time, the ones I'm going to hire, they have a maturity in their posture, in their presentation, and in their conversation with you. Maturity is extremely important.
And you talked about this. Is there anything else you want to say in terms of, as a manager, as a supervisor of a swim school, a swim lessons program, what more your role is? You said support, obviously train. Is there anything else, any other thoughts you want to add? We touched on accolades before. Maybe you want to expand on that.
You've got to be able to let them know they're doing a great job where they are. My eyes, when I'm working any particular 30-minute class, sometimes we have 32 children in the water with 8 different teachers, or we'll have 24 children in the water, or 27 children in the water and 9 different teachers. And, you know, having to scan and constantly look for red flags or things that are going well, that's my job to say, did you see how they reacted to that? Great job. Keep that up. So that they understand, just like the child in the class. If they did something, then you have to say, that was really great. You listened to what I had to say last week, and I saw you do it, and look at how easy that was for the child to take on. And then there's the other side of it. Did you see how their face just went underwater and they got water in their nose? That's because you weren't holding their head right. Come on over here and I'll show you how to do that. Thank you. Simple manners.
I love it, because as you were talking about all these things, I'm thinking this is exactly what the instructor does with the child. Same things, the accolades, the communication. You know, if a kid's sitting there like this, not really communicating, they're not in a space to learn. So it all just kind of flows up and flows down. Okay, any last thoughts and advice for maybe some inexperienced or newer managers right now going into hiring season?
Yeah, this is really important. I love inexperienced applicants because I can mold them. It's the more experienced instructors as far as programming goes. I mean, if you just need someone to give lessons and you don't care how they're going to do them, hey, great, you're experienced, come aboard. But I love inexperienced instructors because they need the information. They want it. they're ready to listen to it, they're ready to absorb it. They have to, otherwise they won't be able to do the job. So I wouldn't be afraid of hiring inexperienced, as long as you've got people who can train effectively and simply, because then you know that that person that really doesn't understand the whole spectrum of learn to swim is in your hands, and they're counting on you. You have a very symbiotic relationship going on. They need information from you. You need them to do what the program is going to provide.
Exactly. That was fantastic. I think we gave a lot of good information to both experienced and inexperienced swim school managers. So I hope you all enjoyed that. Join us next time when we will be talking about another great and interesting topic. Okay, thanks, Alice.
Bye.
Bye.